So, on behalf of both Microsoft and PPM Works, we wanted to thank you for joining us. We have a very tight relationship with Microsoft, and just recently we were able to be a part of the Microsoft Ignite conference, and we learned about some really cool new technologies and not only the vision that's going in, but the roadmap of all these different technologies. Now, today we're going to be focusing in and around more project management and how can you embed not only your daily activities, but mostly from a persona. We'll talk about, how could project managers, maybe resource managers, team members, and of the like. Whenever we ask a question, we're always talking about persona. How would someone understand that question if they were this role or a different role from an executive, the she and the he, or maybe even the team member? So when we're going through even our day in our life discussions, I'll always think about how can a new technology help not only you and your role, but others that are out there. Today, we're going to be looking at Power Automate, but not just any Power Automate, taking a look at how you can use Cloud Flows and Copilot to help yourself out. Now, you might be saying, well, I don't even know what you're talking about. Well, you're in the right place. We're going to go through all that today. And then I'm actually going to get into some samples, and we're going to go through a few samples that we created. Before I do that, we have a running webinar series, and Microsoft helps us not only promote this, but also get eager learners like you out there. And we have a few coming up here that you might be interested in. Part of that Ignite feature that came through was this new planner. We've already done a quick little video out there, but we're going to be going into depth on that. So that's really exciting. It's going to be coming out here in 2024, which is right around the corner. Gosh, I know that's creeping up on us, the holiday season. And then the next that we're going to do here through January and February is really trying to turn that dial and figure out how much can you not only do what you currently have with Project to Web, but how can you do that with some of the other Power Automate, the Power platform itself, and Power Apps. So we're going to be looking at how that all looks. And then next too, in February, we're going to just be blending right into extending that project management reach, right, with Microsoft Teams, and then integrating with not only M365, but we hear a lot of folks that are on Smartsheet. That's great. You can be on Smartsheet, you can be on Microsoft Project. It doesn't really matter where your organization is. We find that of the entire organizations that we work with, you might have disparate channels of PPM solutions, but it always comes back to Microsoft. You're doing your collaboration on Microsoft, you're pushing forward with Microsoft Project, and then you're probably going to do some things that we're doing today using flows or automation. And if you haven't already gone out and checked out some of the new releases that they're talking about with Copilot, we're going to go through a little bit today. But I definitely encourage you to go out there and explore. Use the technology, all right, for you. You can always go out to PPM Works and take a look at all of our events that are out there. With that being said, we like push of information, make it easy for you as well. Well, we do weekly videos that are out there, whether it's in a webinar format like today, or we just do little clips. We might learn something from you, a user out there, or a client. Maybe we resolve something that was a big challenge for an individual or a particular client. So what we do is we take our knowledge, we might strip it so it doesn't have the client's name. We are also ask them if they want to be a part of that discussion. So you can go back, you can see some of our clients that we've gone through and had some of these discussions. So it's pretty darn helpful. But make sure you go ahead and you subscribe to our channel. So right down below, you can do that, or at the end, maybe we'll post some of those links as well. All right, big breath here. You can see from the excitement, not only am I getting ready for the holiday season that's out here, we've three boys that are keeping us busy on our toes, but so is Microsoft. And they are plowing forward with putting everything in. They are definitely doing all in from Satya all the way down to us developers. They're starting to do not only branding of these new technologies, but enhancements of the functionality themselves. Why did I say branding? Well, over the last couple months, people have been asking me, and they say, "Hey, Jacques, you're a Microsoft guy, right? You're a guru out there. What is this Copilot? Can I buy a Copilot? What does it actually mean?" Well, first of all, let's demystify what the word Copilot is. Copilot's been rebranded by Microsoft, and they've really taken charge of that. Copilot is going to be anything that you have generative AI. So think of it, your old Chat GTP, right? Bots that you had three and now four, all these different versions. So it's taking all of these language models and generative process of queries, asking it, and turning it into something fruitful for us. So it's going to start combining. When I say it, Copilot, it's going to start combining you as the user in your seat along with this really helpful tool. Think of it as a really smart, funny at some point colleague or coworker that you have that you don't have to go and bother them because they're always there for you. And you can set the dial. Do you need something that's a little bit more whimsical? Do you want something or creative in that case? Do you need something that's just sort of, gets me the facts? Or do you want it super precise? And as you start to play with these three dials, you're going to figure out that how to ask questions a little bit different. And now what we're seeing is it's taking, and developers are on task. You need to put Copilot in everything Microsoft 365, which is quite something because what you're going to be able to do is in the near future with M365, for those clients that are out there that already have it, there's a slight few, and some of us like partners. But the big release for general consumption is going to come in probably the springtime of 2024 and beyond. Okay. What do I mean by M365? I mean that going into a PowerPoint presentation, you could say, hey, can you create some slides based on, and that would be the same query that you might have when you're exploring all these other AI bots out there. But it's not only going to go find the information, put it in a bulleted form, it's going to use Designer, okay, which is part of PowerPoint, and it's going to start creating things for you and giving you not only the look and the feel of it, but also the words and how you can build on it. And then you can ask it and keep going. Okay, that's just one cool example of Copilot. So now that we know what Copilot is, let's turn our focus on what we're talking about today, and that's cloud flows. Now, you're remiss. What is cloud flows? Again, this is part of some more rebranding that's out there. But think of cloud flows of an extension of what you have in Power Automate. So today I'm going to bring up Power Automate. We're going to go into the tool itself. I can sort of poke around and show you some things. But if you haven't gone in there, you're going to go in there, type in make.powerautomate.com, okay? And that will bring you into what we're going to show you. Now, for project management, you might sit back and say, okay, I've done some little queries and it sort of helps, but how can we translate this into real business cases? Talk about the business cases in a second, but what does it actually do? We find for us and for our clients, and again, this is changing every day what comes in, but first and foremost, efficiency. You remember spell check when that first came out? And I might be dating myself here, right? But we thought we had to go up and say review, spell check, and click and go through it, right? Now it's automatic. We don't even think about it, right? It goes in there, you get the red squiggle, you right click on it, and it gives you a thesaurus, might translate for you. Think of the power that it's doing there, right? The same thing's going on with Copilot, okay? If you don't use it, right, it's not going to help you. So you have to keep going on there, right? Right clicking and then, drilling into it. Well, this case, it's going to remove the right click out of the equation, but you do have to go in and obviously set Copilot up so you can go and look at that from an admin perspective, but also you're going to be going into it. And what is it going to do? It's going to maximize our productivity, right? We can only be as quick or as efficient as we let our brains allow us to. Okay, I'm gonna let that sink in for a little bit because a lot of us think that we're great multitaskers. A lot of us think that we do things very productive and very efficient. But I got to tell you, with the invent of all this technology, I do struggle with it because I find myself more and more me leaving the day, and I do shut off. You can ask colleagues and friends and family that I come back and I say, what the heck did I get done? I started so many things, right? Because I'm all over the place with these, AI and helping out, creating things and starting. that I can't turn that dial. So I do want to tell you, it can only be as productive as you finish things. So that 80-20 Pareto's rule, whatever you'd like to call it here, make sure that you do it, do it good, but then move on. Get it, to that next thing. From a plan perspective, tools can start creating some of these plans. Now, that's not out yet for all of us to go and play with, in Copilot Flow, but it will be coming. But you can go out and create, a sample using best practices. Let's create the best WBS for product management, for new product development, things like that. And then you'll be able to use Copilot to actually look at your data and expand it there. Project status reports, we have those already, right? Great. Can we automatically generate those? Can we identify something maybe in the status reports or look at multiple status reports and ask AI to do stuff? Absolutely. We're going to get into a lot of that a little bit today, but a lot of it on subsequent webinars, right? Interactive chat-like experience, yep, right? We've been talking about that from day one. With the advent of ChatGPT and other things that are out there. And then your AI assistant. Are you gonna be like, isn't this whole thing an AI assistant? Well, yes. But again, you need to coach yourself to start using this, right? Everything that I try to do, I pause and say, hey, I like my brain and I think in a direction. So maybe I'll jot down something. Then I'll go, I wonder what, Copilot has to say about this. And I may agree or may not, but there are probably a couple good things in there that I might not have thought about. So not only is it fun for you to be challenged in that way, but also you can get down to your end goal of summarizing data very quickly or bringing it really to the forefront. What am I trying to say? Now, if I forget to do this, someone remind me, because after we create one of these flows, I always recommend asking Copilot, what does my flow do? And it's going to tell you in words what your flow does. You're going to be like, I missed the mark there because I forgot something. Or you can be spot on. That's exactly what I wanted it to do. So remember, at the end, go back to Copilot. Did I do what my objective was? And Copilot will be black and white with you. It's not going to sugarcoat anything. It's going to tell you how you did it. So our team came together and said, hey, with all this technology, we created some mini challenges here at PPM Works and said, okay, delivery team, marketing team, sales team, and operations team. What can we do today? How can we embed each one of these areas? And then we came together and say, can we go across the bridges, right? And we did that, okay? What we've done for us, for timesheet managers and for our clients, and these are just a few to get you started, right? Is we were able to create new time periods automatically, using different cloud flows. We were able to close those different periods. So now we get notifications that say, hey, you need to submit on Friday. I see you haven't submitted, right? But then we also have it closed, right? So that's something that we didn't have to do, a tedium task that you have to perform every single week, every month, every day for your different reporting. Start knocking it down, figure out these use cases, and then go and start to automate some of these processes. From a project manager perspective, again, what's the easiest and most basic thing we do? We send status reports, okay? So we actually create an automatic status report, and you can do that yourself. Now, what we're using is the Microsoft technology. We're using Microsoft Project, the new project, and or the modern PPM solution. So that's going to generate our status reports for us. Timesheet submitter reminders, creating schedule-based, best practices like I already talked about. And then again, just creating slides. Your project manager, you're doing some stuff. You might have some data in Excel or something else. Use that designer, start creating some of this stuff. If it's out there, again, if you don't have the Copilot yet for M365, no worries. Okay. Just pull up, Copilot or, something else that's out there, an AI generator, and ask it, hey, what would a slide look like that would do XYZ, right? And it will start generating some of this stuff. Most of the power that I'm talking about is going to be when it analyzes that data set for you. or does something like that. And then lastly, from a team member perspective, you can provide different recaps or summaries for meetings. Now, you're talking about Copilot and flows for project management. Yeah, okay. But this is something you can even do today with Microsoft Teams. If you have the new Teams out there, you can do different recaps from this presentation that we're doing today. You can do a recap of what we're talking about and what were the details. Rich documentation, emails, all that good stuff. We're going to point you in the right direction today. Um, we're not going to go through all of these today. I wanted to start from people who are like, oh my gosh, this is great. But start me off small. That's what I want to do today. Start you off small. Then you can come back to us if you need any more help, or if you want to see some samples that we have out there, reach out to us. So, how do you get started? Well, you're going to go into that URL. You can do that. You can do it right now if you want to sort of double monitor, right? But go into makepowerautomate.com. You can click on this link if you're watching the recording as well. And then the first thing you're going to want to do is sort of describe, so hold on a second. What am I trying to do? Mhm. Well, it'd be really nice if, right? And then you're going to use Copilot to help you refine what you're doing, right? And then you want to just keep doing this over and over. Test, refine, and then something new here we're going to talk about, which is process mining. Now, this is typically for big data. I'll talk about it in just a second, but you're going to go through this loops. It helps you figure out, okay, how was it run, et cetera. And then obviously you want to save this. Now, the last one is for you, but also for us. Make sure you're go ahead and you're doing these for multiple use cases, but then share it. Share it with your colleagues, your friends, okay, with us. Be like, I created a super cool thing that saves me every day. I don't have to do this. Let us know. We'd love to hear it. Okay. So again, let us know at info@PPM Works or post back to this. It'll be up on YouTube. However you want to do that, share your experiences because people can only grow on them. And I'm not saying you actually have to share the flow with someone, but that'd be cool too. But the idea, the use case, how it's helping you, where you got stuck, okay, go get some help. Now, I mentioned process mining, so I want to talk about it before we start getting into a quick example here. And I know we have some time, to get into the tool. But process mining, why do I like process mining? First of all, I'm a gadget guy. I love, getting into something, but I like someone else sort of looking at it and saying, hey, I can take this. This is what I was trained to do. I'm a computer, right? I'm going to take a look at everything that you're doing. So I'm going to discover, some areas that you might be going into. Now, for bigger data, for little data, there's kind of, ho hum, right? That's out there. But once you start getting across large data sets or different processes that have to connect, this is where it really is going to come. It will start recommending potentially some not only different process that you can do, but also the schema and how you can interpret different data and when you should be actually asking and probing that information for insights as well. So you can see it all here. Again, a busy splash screen, but today is not about data processing, sorry, process mining, okay? And that is, I'll show you where that is within the tool set. But I really want to get you into the tool itself and we can go through that. Um, oh, here's a nice little alert. I want to, here's an example that we did, right? So here's a team example on our team itself. You can see right here, I just snapped this at some point, and you can see that there's a reminder in Teams. We're a Teams organization. I do not like emails, okay? I know they exist. I'm going to show you a sample of someone sending me an email, and then we turn it back into Teams or maybe a task within a project. I'll show you some of that today. But here's just a quick example. And again, we have a few more of these. I don't want to slide you to death here today. So I'm going to pounce over and we're going to jump into Power Automate. We're going to talk about how you can start using those cloud flows. And I can just head, you can see that. I'm going to continue on here. Perfect. All right. So the first thing we want to do, right, is get you into the tool. This is easy, right? You type this up here. If you don't have this, work with your administrators, depending on what environment you're in, okay? Double check all this. It's all going to be single sign-on. If you've already been in here, what was Power Automate before? It was Flow, right? So now it's called Power Automate. On the left-hand side, you can go into all your flows. I highly recommend looking at some of these learning areas, okay? They're very quick. You can gain little like tokens as well if you're into all that. But you can start to go through some of these things and learn on your own. Up here, describe detail how you want your automation to work. Okay, we're here, right? We're starting to use Copilot. And just by clicking on here, it's going to give me a list of some things, right? Every day, copy a file from SharePoint to another, and I could start typing things in. But what if I wanted to maybe, in this case, email, there you go. I just started typing email. When a new email arrives, send to sender. I want an email. I want to when an email arrives. Okay, I like that part. I want to send a Teams alert. Okay, and let's just see what it comes back with. Right there we go. So we have something here. If a new email arrives, then push a notification, post a message to Teams conversation. Seems like we're pretty much on it, right? If I go ahead and click on that, it's going to say, hey, I'm going to do some stuff. Let's just walk through this, right? This is where the power of Microsoft comes in, right? So we're using not only Power Automate here, but we're trying to get into a little bit more detail with Flow. Now I can go in here, I can do some different things, but if I just very quickly, I just want to show you how we can bullet through here. I have my connection. Says when a new email comes in, I have a new action here. It's going to send something here, and I'm going to post. Okay, go ahead and create this thing. That was it. 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. All right. Now, when we have Copilot up here, we can say, okay, well, I got this in here, but I want to do more to this. So, what do I want to do? Well, maybe you want, because we have to maybe send it to our manager. I want to send an email to my manager. Well, what if I send an email to my manager? I'm doing this a little expressly. So now it's going to say, okay, I can send it. Now look carefully, okay? We've done this many times, and it's going to come in here and say, what? Wait, what just happened? So it actually went ahead because I said okay to that and said it removed these actions, and then it sent an email. I say, no, 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 no. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay. So let's go ahead and reset that. Go back to my post. What I really wanted to do is I wanted to add to this flow, right? And then I could type. So while you start going through this with, your creation, just watch what it's doing. So now it says, oh, okay, now I get it. So now I'm going to add this. So I got to figure out who your manager is first. Wait, what? It just figured out, could go on. That's pretty damn impressive, right? And then I told it to do a Teams message, right? Not an email. Like, keep trying to get me to do an email. But that's all right, no problem. I want to add a Teams post to the end of this message. All right, and now you can start to see how we're creating things. And we're going through this, step by step from just a very easy one in this case. And, maybe I don't want this here anymore. So right click and I can delete this. Yep, I can go ahead and delete. And all we did is create a very quick, simple flow here. Well, I'd recommend that you come in here and you make this your own. Email goes to Teams, saves me time, whatever you have, right? So change that. And then if you click on each of these, okay, you're going to need to go in and add your parameters, okay? So what is this going to say? Well, in this case, I can add my different notifications. What's the link? What email do I actually need? What am I sending? Okay. Again, what am I posting? Where am I posting? Okay. Do I want to just post as a user? Do I want a bot? Okay. If you don't know what all this stuff is, you'll learn very soon. Okay. But it's this little thing that comes up and says, hey, you have an alert. Okay. And it just looks like it's a automated robot, right? And you can go into your channel, etc. You guys get where I'm going. Okay. So that was a quick example. I'll just save that in case anybody wants something there. I do have some invalid things. Yes, I get it. I didn't finish it. We're just moving on, right? So I'm going to go ahead and say okay here. Now let's go into some other cloud flows that we have here. All right, I created one earlier, and let's take a look at what we did here. First of all, I went in here and said, hey, this is project management. I want to do something with project. I said, hey, help me out with project, right? And it started creating things for me. And again, I could go in here and refine things. But in this case, it said, hey, I see that you have connections to Microsoft Project, you have connection to all these other things, but one of these other things I see, which is Microsoft Project, I can actually do some things for you. So what can it do? It said, I'm going to not only check out a project for you, I'm going to create a new task and then I'm going to publish this thing. I'm like, let's give this a whirl, right? What is the application of this? Well, in this case, I said, how could I do this? Well, maybe I wanted a new support task to be sent out every week, and then that would get published to my outside support folks in this case. And I don't want to send it in advance because, again, I'm not sure I'm going to do it all every week, etc. Or I want to take a look at how many resources I have. Do I have budget? Okay, and I can create these. So again, all I did is create this. I have an action that's going to go out and do that. If I was to go and run this or test this, it goes through and tests it. And then I can actually come back and see um, where all this information went. Now, remember I talked about data, okay, data mining. Here's that same flow that we just did. And it says, hey, we're going to go ahead and check out a project, right? And then we're going to create a new task and we're going to go here. This is just your counts, like how many times is it running, right? What is my action status, okay? Where are my runs, et cetera. And as you start to go through, you can actually map and see where the data is coming from and the different variants and all this good stuff. But this, I just wanted to show you a quick example on a very simple, okay, flow that we've created, reaching out to project. Now, if I were to run that, what would it do? Well, over here, let's just open that back up. I told it to create a task. And just refresh here, you're going to see at the bottom of my demo one project here, it actually opened this thing up. It created these tasks, right? Support effort is what it was. And it created it for week 1, week 2, and week 3 in here. Now I could go in here and edit this and change some things if I wanted to, and again, do my project management in here. But here you can see with a simple cloud flow, you can go ahead, open up your project, do some things, and then send it back out using Teams, okay, post to Teams, create a status report, all this good, rich history that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Start to embody AI and get some help, right? That's really what we want to do. All right. So I know we're running down, but today we wanted to get you started. I'm going to take a look at some questions to see if we have some that are out there. And while I do that, I'm going to reshare some of the slides that we had because I want to see if you folks want to reach out to us. That's what I'd want to do. How do I get some information back to you? And also, what can I do if I want to learn more? So let's go ahead and talk. Let's go jump into those right now. Uh, Leave off where we resumed. Yes, there we are. All right, well, what we have we have some workshops, right? So you can go in here and reach out to us. If you qualify, we'll be happy to do some. Not only do you earn PDUs because we're PDU certified from PMI, but we also get you going down the right path. Now, it could be in Copilot here, it could be a Microsoft project, it could be in the modern solution that's out there, anything that you want. If we can turn that into something productive and showing you and the organization how we can work, reach out to us. I ask you to connect. Go ahead and connect to me. Zoom this thing in, link into me, okay? And I'll make sure that I give you all the information that you folks need and ask for. We always want to hear from you. So on the bottom right there, info@PPM Works, reach out to us. If it's a question for us or it's a question for Microsoft, we'll get an answer for you, okay? And then lastly, I know we already said at the top of the hour, but go ahead and subscribe, right, to our on-demand recordings. Now, one link that I did want to leave you with, if you folks are starting or you don't have M365 Copilot, you actually can do things right now to get that process. Microsoft has a long list of all this, but I put up the link just so you can start preparing yourself, okay? Go through there. There are some admin things, there's communication, there's the change readiness, there's a bunch of things. How are you going to communicate this to your organization, and will they actually adopt it? Okay. So again, go out there and make sure that you can go forward. The last is I wanted to share some links that we have out here. And these are more just contact us if you have, but if you want any help or you want to get into a local Microsoft specialist, reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you there. And then on the bottom are just some connections and getting back into the community. So reach out to us, make sure you're following our events, connect to that Copilot Microsoft Community Hub. So if you have questions there, we're on there. We can answer, or some of the other colleagues that are out there can help you. Well, again, on behalf of Microsoft, everyone here at PPM Works, we thank you for your time. We know that you're important and we want to hear from you. So reach out to us, info@PPM Works. Let us know what you thought. Let us know what your flows are doing, or if you've run into any issues, we'll be happy to take a look. All right. From all of Microsoft and PPM Works, have yourself a great day. Happy holidays and enjoy the day. Bye now.